Hello and welcome to the Fairy Little Podcast. I'm Marsha, also known as Fairy Little on all of the social media. Welcome to my podcast. Today we are going to talk about a bunch of knitting. By a bunch, I mean pretty much two things. And then we'll get into some jibber jabber. So I don't see it as being a really long episode today, but I'm really excited. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to talk about right away what I'm wearing. I am wearing the new Comfort hoodie that I have just released. I just released it on Sunday, the 14th, and it is available on Ravelry. It will be up on my website as well. It's just not quite there. This hoodie is knit out of Berocco Remix Light, so it is multiples of fiber that are all mixed into this beautiful sweater. This is my 3-stripe one. I wore a 2-stripe one the other day. It has a nice pocket in the front and it's in this yarn. It is fairly loose. It is knit at a fairly tight gauge because it is a hoodie, which means it's an exterior piece of clothing to wear over top. It's knit with 5 inches of ease. And the size range goes from 32-inch chest to a 60-inch chest. So there's a wide range of chest sizes. And if you knit the size 60-inch chest, it actually comes out to 65 inches. So even if your chest is a little bit bigger than that, you could probably get away with a 60-inch chest because it'll go up to 65. I try to make my patterns as size inclusive as I can, and I'm working on, and I just increased the sizes on my Skaha sweater and made some other edits in that as well. It has some I-cord drawstrings that once you knit them, you block them out so they get even longer. It's also knit with an I-cord in the middle to pull the V together, which is really cute. Or you could just do buttonholes on one side and button it if that's what you choose. That is not written as an option, but of course you could fandangle it. It would be fairly simple to do that. The hood is a nice large hood. I wanted something that didn't pull the sweater up when you wear it. So it is a large hood, and if you wanted to knit something smaller, you definitely could take your own measurements and shorten it however you see fit. It's fairly easy to change the length if that is what you'd like. And because it's a drawstring, it's knit, so it's got a piece here for the drawstring to go through, so you can pull it tight if you want to, which also pulls the top up, but you can tighten it up if you need to, and you could tie it in a bow if that is what you would like to do. So it's very cute. I really like it. It's good to, on windy days, just pull that hood up so the wind doesn't get in your ears. It's knit on a fairly small set of needles. It is 2.75 and 2.5 millimeter needles because of the kind of yarn that it's suggested. It doesn't pull in, but if you choose to use a wool, I would definitely recommend that you swatch. I recommend swatching anyway, but definitely swatch to get gauge to see how it knits, but also how your ribbing is going to pull in, because you might want to use a larger size needle for your ribbing if it's going to squeeze in really tight. So that's something to pay attention to as well. It's the Berocco Remix Light is classed as a DK, but I have found that it is actually more akin to a heavy fingering because of the yardage that is in the skein. So this is a 100-gram skein. It is 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, and 9% linen. So this yarn it's not super elasticy. It definitely has drape. It is, I enjoy knitting with it. And the one thing that's really great about it is that the more you wear it, the softer it's going to get, the more loose it's going to fit. It is something that will probably grow a little bit, but over time, but it just gets more and more comfortable and it doesn't itch. That's the other really good thing, that if you're not wearing a long sleeve shirt under it, you don't really have to worry because it's not itchy. It has no wool content. So if you're sensitive to wool, this is also a good idea. So it's listed as a number 3 yarn light, which is a DK essentially, but this is a 100-gram ball and there's 432 yards or 400 meters per ball. So that to me says heavier fingering. It does plump up a bit when you block it, but I would pay attention to that. So if you are choosing to use a different fiber, then maybe look at the yarn band and make sure that you're getting the same yardage-ish, because it does come out. It does seem a lot thinner. I have some DK. Here's a Stell double knit. So this is DK weight yarn. And this yarn is a true DK versus this one. So you can tell that the true DK is quite a bit heavier than this yarn. So that's something to pay attention to. I do recommend a number 3 light DK yarn in the pattern because that's what this is classed as, but definitely do your gauge swatch. And if you decide to do it on a true DK, then you might want to do the math and knit at a knit with larger needles, because I wouldn't want your wrists to die knitting with a true DK versus knitting with this much lighter one. I have knit this sweater in a sock weight yarn, a fingering weight yarn. It did come out smaller because I didn't take gauge, but it still fits large. It still has ease in it, but not 5 inches of ease. So that's the only thing that I'd like to throw out there about that, is that it does, because it's knit at such a density, it calls for a higher yardage of yarn per size. So that's something that, you know, if you've got a lot of a specific yarn that you want to use, then this would be great. And you can knit it in stripes. It has the formula for this stripe. It also has the formula for the other stripe that I was wearing that was like a turquoisey egg. No, it was more like an eggshell blue and black with the thin black stripes. So it has the formula for both of those, and the pattern as it's written is for solid. So there's 3 options there, but you can always play around with color, which is what I like to do and how I landed on both of those. All 3 of these options is because I was playing with color and I really liked the way it looked. And then if you don't have enough of one yarn, you can add another yarn in and and they play really nicely together. So I'm actually knitting this exact hoodie, the comfort hoodie, right now on a single color, and it's the one I just showed you. This is a dark pink. And they're numbered. The colors are numbered. So this one is color 6961. So that's what color this one is. I have knit the body. The body's knit. The pocket has been started. So the pocket is knit. So it's a top-down sweater. The pocket is knit as you go, and it's knit flat in 2 different sections, and then you join it together. And I'm not going to give that away, but it's done. It's kind of its own thing. I think it's important with this one because there's so many pieces that you do read the directions, but don't overthink things before you get there. I think that is a big part, is don't start worrying about something when you haven't gotten there yet, because then you'll just get caught up on something that you don't need to worry about till you get there. Because when you get there, it makes sense, I guess is what I'm saying. The body's knit. I'm working on one of the sleeves, and the hood is done. I did the hood, finished it off over the last week. The sleeves are very, very straightforward. It's very relaxing. I don't have to, I'm in mid-row actually. I'm still checking things off and working through it. I'm pretty excited about this one because it's going to be my my spring hoodie. So the one I'm wearing, I actually gave this one to Scylla for Christmas. So I just stole it back to show you guys. And it'll go back into her dresser when I'm finished. So I'm really enjoying that. I have that on a pair of Haya Sharps right now. That's what I'm knitting the sleeve on. And these are 2.75 millimeters. So the yarn is like, it's a fairly dense fabric. Like I said, I wanted something that would not let the wind come in and be really comfortable for maybe sitting on the beach in the summer. It's not wool, so it's not going to be overly hot, but it will also keep your body heat in, and it won't let the cold air hit you. And so that's why I chose the yarn that I chose. But definitely, as in all knits, you can play around, because that's the fun thing about being a creator, is we get to create. Even when there's a formula written for us, then we get to play within those boundaries. So I am really happy this is released. It is on Ravelry, will be on my website. The listing price is $12, but because I'm still doing my fundraiser that I have been doing for the past couple weeks, it is on for 50% off right now. And the coupon code on Ravelry is Help Marsha, with a capital H and a capital M. And then on my website, when it gets posted up there, it will be Help Marsha, all capital letters, is the coupon code to get 50% off. So you can get this baby for $6 Canadian, which I think is like $4 American. So it's a steal. That is what I'm knitting, and what I'm wearing, that's the same thing. The other thing I have been working on, and I actually set this aside because I really wanted to get the hoodie worked on, is my winter doldrums. I'm on my second color. And this is where I was the last time you saw it, was here. So the first time was down here. This is the second time. This is the third time. So I've gotten that much done. I'm really enjoying it. It's super meditative. This is a free pattern on Ravelry and on my website. You can just go and grab it and download it, and it will be yours to have and to hold. It's a super meditative knit. There is a little bit going on to keep your interest for the increases, but it's just really, it's a one skein wonder. So you just need a single skein of your favorite yarn. This is Smith & U in the variegated in fuchsia, purple, and turquoise. So that's the ball. I think this was dyed as a blank and then caked up, because I purchased it as a cake, and there's lots of sparkle in there too. You can see the sparkle, which is so pretty. I am really enjoying this. I'm going to try and get the hoodie done before I do any more work on this one. And I've moved the markers up to this row for this week, because then you'll be able to see how far I've gotten in the last week. The bag that this is in my Knit and Stitch Bits bag, and it's really cute. I've shown this a few times on the past couple episodes. It's such a nice little bag. It fits my one skein project really well, and I'm really enjoying it. And that is it for the knitting content. If that's all you were here for, thank you so much for joining me. And if you are interested in jibber jabber, let's get jibber jabbering. My sale is still on for raising money for the bill that I have been talking about in the last couple episodes. I've been doing a fundraiser, and that's why my patterns are 50% off right now. I'm still working on that, and I really appreciate everybody who has sent me donations, who have purchased my patterns, who have sent notes of kindness, who have shared their stories. This has been really difficult. It was very hard for me to reach out and even talk about it in a public way. But I wanted to let you all know I did put $5,000 down on the bill last week. And since then, we have raised $486.83. So that, going against my bill as well, that will bring the total down to $6,247.42 left to go. So that, I'm so excited that this is getting taken care of, and so swiftly. I have been overwhelmed by the amount of amazing support from everybody, and that we can band together and help each other in such a profound way. Even if you can't like help out in a financial way, if you could just help spread the word, that would be fantastic, because I've got some amazing patterns that are like a really great price right now. Like my fingerless mittens, they're available, and they're, you know, they're really comfy and easy to knit. So even a newer knitter could get knitting a pair of my fingerless mittens. There's a bunch of shawl designs as well, and my new hoodie pattern. So there's a bunch of things available, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for everybody that has been purchasing and sharing about my situation, because it has been hard. It is currently spring break here. Spring break just started. And it's really wonderful to have all of the kids hanging out with me at home. We're going to be planning to do some things over the next couple weeks. They have 2 weeks off, and last year at this time it was 2 weeks that led into the rest of the year. So I don't see that happening, but it's really nice to have them around, because we were in each other's bubbles all the time for so long last year. So it feels a little bit weird that they're not with me all of the time right now. So we are going to probably do some hikes. Over the winter, we did do a few hikes and walks, and we're breaking out the bikes now. So that's really fun. One of my girls is not big into biking. There's a whole big backstory into that. So we work around that, and we're just moving forward. So I have to get my yard all ready. I am going to be moving my chickens to a new location, because I moved them closer to the house for the winter because it was getting dark so quickly, and I wanted to have easier access to them. So they are going to be moved back and into a different area and clean up where they were. Probably in the next couple weeks we'll be planting, and by we I mean my sister and I will be planting some more grass seed, doing the winter cleanup of anything that's blown into the yard, you know, dog business, and getting everything ready for spring and running around in all over the place. So that's what it's going to be looking like over the next little bit here. I think that's it for me for today. I know it was super quick, but I wanted to touch base with everybody and see how you're all doing. So if you want to let me know in the comments below how things are going for you, if you have any plans for your spring break, or if you are just going to be hanging out at home, any hikes, any walks, any swimming. We're still fairly closed. Our government just said that now we can gather in groups of 10 in a backyard setting with social distancing. So that's really cool. I also, because I'm an essential worker, I also received my first vaccine, which is really great. And I'm very happy about that. So I didn't experience any superpowers, and I didn't experience any adverse effects. My shoulder was a little bit sore, which is what normally would happen for me with the flu shot. And actually I've had worse effects from a flu shot than from this shot. The flu, usually I'd be like exhausted for 3 days, achy, tired, just sleeping, and this was nothing. I just got my flu shot, had a sore arm the next day, and everything is good. So I'm very happy about that. Just like updating that, I think is probably important. So that is it for me for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate every single one, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Until next time.